Bay. This is Giants baseball. Told straight. You're listening to NorCal Sports Network. No homers, no casuals. Just truth. Let's go!
All right, everybody, welcome on in. NorCal Sports Network, a Thursday night coming to you live, and took us a while. Sorry, we had to push it back a little bit, 15, 20 minutes. I was out tonight and got home about 10, 15 minutes later than I planned, and then it's like, I got to eat, and it's 10 to 9. I'm like, if I don't eat now, I don't like to eat at 10 o'clock, and then go to bed shortly after that. It's not good for what they call acid reflux. It's not really good to eat and then go lay down. So here we are. Dallas is back with us. He missed Tuesday night as he had to take a road trip, not into Glen Country, huh?
Glen Country, yes.
Yeah,
north of the border.
Up there in Canada. All right.
Did not see much. Just in and out for work, get some stuff done. But, yeah, I'm back now.
All right. Well, you know what, Dallas? I need to grab a piece of paper. So I'll be back in less than 5 seconds.
All right. Let's time him. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Look at that. A man of his word.
All right. I left it on that's my office desk over there. This is my
Studio.
NorCal Sports Network studio.
Sports desk.
Yeah. So, the setup is over there this is where I make my real living over there. This is where I'm trying to make a living for retirement over here. But, yeah. Well, the big news of the day was Bryce Eldridge. Before we get into everything, Bryce Eldridge was sent down, and I expected this to happen, but not till next week. What do you think, Dallas?
Well, I have been a proponent of trying to keep him, but the strikeouts have continued to pile up, and at a certain point, it's just not sustainable. It's become clear that he's just not quite ready for the big league pitching. I think he needs a little more seasoning down in AAA.
Maybe it's only a month or two.
Yeah, but he could have forced his way onto the roster, and you want to give people the opportunity to do that. But what is it? 19 strikeouts in 49 plate appearances is almost 39%.
Yeah, that's a little steep.
That's against spring training pitching where guys aren't even throwing their full arsenal some of the time. So
right,
and that it's no knock on him. I mean, this is all new to him. He has had very little service time in the big leagues and even in AAA. So he needs to go learn how to hit the pitches that spin, and he's going to go and do that, and then we'll see him at some point. And even if he was hitting the cover off the ball, there's a chance he could have ended up in AAA anyway, just because he has options, and some other guys they do not have options. So this gives them the opportunity to give Jerar Encarnacion a look, and I think that's what's going to happen here when they start putting the roster together this next week.
Yeah. And I'm looking at this, and we're going to get into this. If you saw the thumbnail, I saw the one comment by NorCal there with Christian Koss. I couldn't get it to work it out. And it's just pencil neck or whatever you want to call it. I didn't have time tonight I wanted to get the show up because I knew I wasn't getting home till close to 8:30. Show was supposed to originally schedule for 8:30. I got home at 8:35, grabbed a quick bite to eat, and so I had to get the show up and running, and I was running out the door at 6, and I says, I forgot to set up tonight's show, so let me get the thumbnail, and as you know, sometimes AI screws things up, and I didn't have time to tell him to fix
It's
it.
fine. We got the idea.
Yeah.
But insane. I mean, he's not happy about the decision here, but you look at the numbers. Bryce was hitting 231 with 39% strikeout rate. Jerar's hitting over 300 with 18% strikeout rate. So
yeah, I'm kind of down on Jerar personally myself, and I want to talk about that. It seems like he's going to make the team. I would rather have Jesus. What's his last name? Hernandez, right? The catcher. It's Hernandez.
is it Gonzalez
Oh, geez.
or Hernandez?
I don't help us out. Anybody in the chat? My mind's not fully clicking here. I don't think it's going. What is it? The catcher, the guy that plays second base, the guy they got from the Yankees. What's his last name? I think it's Rodriguez. Okay.
Rodriguez. Yes.
We both missed
There
it.
it is. Yeah, we were both off.
Gravy. I would rather have him be on the roster than Jerar, because that guy's hit nothing but $300 career in every level, and he does more things than Jerar does as far as on the field. Gerard's a one-trick pony, in my opinion.
Yeah, but Rodriguez, they want him to be a catcher, and he didn't really catch much.
Yeah,
in
he
spring
does.
training.
You're right. He needs to catch. That's the big thing, because if you lose a Bailey or a Susac, you don't want a guy that's not used to catching coming up. So that's a really good point, and I think all these things play a huge factor. The other thing that I would do over Jerar, I would do this. You saw the faces on there, the four, and I'm not getting into pitching right now because that is a whole another issue, and that's going to work itself out. We will try to project that later on tonight, but I want to get this position thing down. I put up there Matos, Jerar, Koss, and was it McCray? I think it was McCray. Okay, here's
McCray has been optioned down.
He was.
Yes.
He was today?
Today.
Okay. But Will Brennan was not?
As far as I know, no.
Let me look. I've been on the move here today. Let me take a look and see what the transactions were today for the Giants.
Fitzgerald, McCray, and Bryce.
Okay. I mean, you knew Fitzgerald was going down. I mean, that was a no-brainer.
Correct.
Oh, by the way, the Giants are leading Colorado tonight 13-8. Just to give you a little bit of update on that particular standouts tonight, Drew Gilbert 3 for 4. So he's making a late push if he can all of a sudden. I want to call him Tony Oliva, but it's Jared Oliva. I see Oliva and I think Oliva. 2 for 5, couple of RBIs. Daniel Susac, 2 for 3. He's wrapped that job up. Barracoto still hitting, 2 for 3, 474. Encarnacion, though, goes 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. Matos, 2 for 5. So we're not keeping McCray. Koss does see they're playing all the guys tonight that are on that they're looking at really close. They're looking at Gilbert, they're looking at Oliva, they're looking at Brennan, they're looking at Barracoto, possibly Encarnacion, and Matos and Koss. Those guys are all being still kind of looked at. And as you get closer to the season opener, you get some of the guys that are pitching more your frontline pitchers. Like tonight, they faced the Rockies' Sagano, which is the pitcher that was with the Orioles last year over from Japan last year. So guys got some at-bats, and they faced John Brebbia, another major league pitcher. And then the rest of the pitchers I'm not sure of from Colorado. And then on the pitching side, Logan Webb went tonight, and Webb went 4 1/3. He threw a total of 86 pitches. So he gave up 6 runs, 6 earned runs. I'm not worried about any of that, and I'll tell you why. One, he's coming back. He flew in yesterday from Florida after Tuesday night's loss. And, it's just a tune-up tonight. Get your pitches count up. Get your pitch count up.
Yeah, I didn't see what pitches he threw, but I imagine he's working on, fine-tuning some things, and I don't think he really cares about giving up runs at this point.
No, and you know what? He was probably going to pitch. I didn't see the game. I don't know if he had a rough inning and he came out because the pitch count was too high in one inning. If they brought him back, they'll do that in the spring. Like if they don't want a guy throwing 30 pitches in one inning. So
yeah,
I don't know if that happened. But he was all about tonight was getting in 85 pitches.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
And I see people posting like the Giants have fallen a game behind in the Cactus League standings.
Oh, come on.
These players don't give a shit about the Cactus League. Who finishes first, middle, last.
I don't want them to finish first.
The Giants do not care.
I want the Dodgers to finish first, Dallas. I don't want them finishing first because
I hope the Dodgers win the Cactus League, and that's the only thing they win this year.
Yes, exactly.
I would be thrilled with that. So, I don't know. Fans, they get into these games, but it is practice, and you're trying to get yourself into shape for this real season that's coming in less than a week. So, every time I see that, I get tempted to get on, fire off some comment, and then I'm like, whatever, just let it go.
I hope they're not carrying Jerar, but here's how I would do it. All right. I've said it before on the show. I'm going to repeat myself. I understand, but I am going to go with Matos as my 4th outfielder. And now that McCray's gone, I'm going with Gilbert or Brennan as my 5th outfielder. I want a lefty coming off the bench that can make contact in a situation. Gilbert doesn't strike out as much as some of the other guys, and neither does Brennan. They're both contact hitters. They're not power hitters. That might have been the situation why they sent McCray down. I don't know. He didn't strike out a lot in the spring, but I'm going with that, and I'm going with Susac, and I'm going with now that Eldridge is gone, though, that opens up another spot, really. So it's probably you may still – it's either going to be Encarnacion, Koss, Schmidt, Susac, and an outfielder, most likely Matos. Or if they don't go with Koss, they could go 2 outfielders, which would provide a lefty off the bench. I don't think Barracoto's going to be the guy they carry. He's having a great spring, but keep in mind it is spring, and guys, no career is made in spring training. Brubaker, by the way, pitched 2 innings tonight, 2 Ks, 2 base on balls, 1 run. Gregory Santos pitched, unless he's still pitching right now, 0 outs. He's given up. What? Wait a minute. That can't be right, is it? No. It says 10 runs. It's got to be, they're saying 10. Oh, no, that's totals. I'm sorry. Looking at the wrong guy. Okay, Santos, 3 runs, a third of an inning, 1 hit so far, 2 earned runs, 1 walk. Probably that might seal his fate tonight. if you don't have a good outing, right? And you're on that fence.
Right. Yeah, I think Encarnacion is on this club.
Most likely. I'm not happy about it personally, Dallas. Not that I dislike the guy, but
I think that he's done enough to get his shot. They like the guy. They've kept him around for this long, but he's hitting 300 and he's cut down on his strikeouts. His defense has looked pretty good. I don't know what else he would have to do to make this team and at least start the season filling that DH hole that Eldridge is not going to be filling.
Yeah. Do you go with an Encarnacion as the opening day DH, or do you go with Casey Schmidt?
I think Encarnacion probably. But yeah, I don't. It's interesting because Casey has been a good player for the Giants the last few years. Maybe he gets the nod, kind of the seniority type of thing. But they want the guy that has the. I mean, they both got some pop, but Encarnacion really has the pop. That's the reason why they've kept him around. So
yeah, he hits the ball hard, and we'll see. We'll see how he does. But if he starts the season off and he's in that 25-30% strikeout rate again, as the regular season comes up and he's chasing things, he's probably let's say Eldridge has a good first month, he's gone. That will be the case. They will not hesitate.
It's going to be his shot. It's going to be, he'll have to earn his stay if he wants to stay. So,
there's a thought. Ramos to be the DH and put a better outfielder in left field. A Matos or a Gilbert. I think it's going to come down to, those are the guys that are on the fence. I mean, the fact that they sent down today McCray and Eldridge tells me they're looking at very closely at Gilbert and Brennan as a possibility to be a left-handed bat off the bench.
I just don't see Gilbert making this team. I mean, I know he's a Vitello guy, and they liked him last year, but he's been hurt. He's had limited time up there, but he's hitting 182. His production is pretty limited, and his experience against big league pitching is non-existent. Why not start him in AAA and let him gain some experience?
Now he's up to 269 tonight after 3 for 4. So I don't know if that helps. Probably it can't hurt.
It doesn't hurt, but it's a small sample size. I mean, either way, if he's good or not, he hasn't gotten a big look this spring because he's been hurt. So I think Brennan probably gets the nod over him if they're looking for a left-handed outfielder. Now, defensively, you got to like that, but you got to like Gilbert. But they're both pretty good defensively. So,
who's that? Gilbert and who?
Brennan,
yeah. I can definitely see that. I would like to see them carry a left-handed bat on the bench as an outfielder. And again, don't take this wrong, chat, or everybody else who's not in the chat just watching. I'm not against Christian Koss. I think he's a really good utility guy. He's a scrappy guy. He hustles. He's a good player. How much playing time, though, realistically, does Christian Koss get with Chapman and Adames and Arise and Devers as your infield? And then Casey Schmidt, you would think, is the next man up in the infield. So you either carry 2 extra outfielders or 2 extra infielders. You have no choice in this matter. It's one or the other. It's kind of like in football when they decide, okay, we're going with an extra safety versus an extra linebacker, or vice versa. That's what cuts come down to in football, and it's what it's going to come down to in baseball. You don't have enough roster spots if you're carrying 13 pitchers to have 2 outfielders and 2 infielders.
Sure.
And a backup catcher.
They may initially go with 1 less in the bullpen because they have all these days off. They're not going to need a full complement of stuff. And then they sneak Matos onto the roster, right?
Mm-hmm.
so that
like
every other
this. I know where
team
you're
has to fill up their 26 man roster, and then everyone's 40's full at that point. They've all made their decisions, and then the season starts, and then they DFA Matos and try to slip him through waivers so they can option him to Sacramento, because teams at that point have they've picked all their guys and they're a little more locked in, and it's tougher for them.
It's the Joey Bart thing they did.
Right, but Joey Bart got picked up.
Yeah, and if Matos goes, does Pittsburgh pick up everybody from the Giants? I don't know, but if they did that, let's say they carried 7 relievers, 5 starters, or 4 starters and 8 relievers, because maybe they're going to carry all 5 of those guys because they're not going to mess around. You can't. You got to stay 10 days, I think. Well, unless there's an injury, right, or something like that. Or that's maybe once they're optioned. Anyway, I think they're going with their 5 starters, okay? Webb, Ray, Hauser, Molly, and Roop. Those are your 5. They may go with 7 relievers initially, and then, as you said, Dallas, maybe they go Matos plus a left-handed bat, and Koss, and Schmidt, and Encarnacion, and Susac. And maybe for the first week, maybe the first, you got 2 lefties opening series. You got Max Fried and Carlos Rodon in 2 of those 3 games. Let's say that Jerar goes 0 for 8 and strikes out 5-6 times. They may just say, hey, we need a pitcher. Gerard's the guy we're letting go.
Yes.
I don't know.
And they're going to make that assessment. They might think that they could sneak Encarnacion through waivers instead of Matos, and it'll be one or the other, and they'll just gamble and try and keep them, because at this point carrying both of them long term is a little tough because you want to have a left-handed outfielder, and so I think that's what they do. They have a much better chance of getting them through if sneaking them through if all the other teams have already made up their rosters.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Now the other thing is the trade thing. You keep hearing Krukko, Pavlovich, Slusser. Everyone's saying there's a trade coming. There's something. Someone's going to get moved. Maybe that's Matos. Maybe that's Schmidt. Maybe that's, we don't know. So they might look for more flexibility that way when they try to add another reliever or something like that to the mix.
Yeah. I think this comment here by George, he says trade Schmidt for a solid reliever or even a setup man that's decent. He won't get us as high a leverage arm, but might get us an underrated reliever. I'm okay if – I don't agree with what Kerry Crowley said the other day. He said trade Schmidt for a reliever even if it's a guy that's not on the 40-man roster. And I'm like, why would you do something that – you got guys down there. That's like trading Schmidt for Bednar or Killian or, you got, if you're not going to if he's not a guy that's on the roster, you got guys like that. You don't need guys like that. If you're going to trade Casey Schmidt, give me a reliever that's 6th inning on that's proven himself to be effective, not just some.
Casey Schmidt is also an insurance policy against Chapman getting injured
or a Rise.
Or a Rise getting injured, or he adds a lot of flexibility because he can step in and do a decent job at the plate and a great job defensively, and so I don't know that they're going to want something substantial for him, and I don't know if they're going to get it at this point because he's still unproven. He's never gotten that everyday shot, and so he's not a guaranteed like a lot of guys aren't. So
yeah.
But the Giants like him a lot, so it's going to take something considerable, or something, not something that's more of a sure thing than just some flyer on some guy that on a not even on a 40-man roster somewhere.
Right. Hey guys, a late development here, and I just want to bring this up to you guys because I want to get back to our subject here at hand when it comes to the roster and the cuts and how we're projecting the roster. But NorCal Sports Network Gmail just had a late development. I'm in another fantasy league that I was in last year, and it was a roto league that was a couple $100 entry fee. We're going to bring it down to $150, but that league just somehow there was a little bit of something going on with the person running the league where he's just not able to do it this year, and the league's kind of falling apart. So a lot of those guys in that league are coming over that want to join the NorCal Sports Network League. And so we've already got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see. 4. Okay. This guy's can't afford the 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What am I doing my list? We've got about 7 or 8 guys committed right now. We're going to go for a 10-team league. Senior, I think, might want to get in. It's a very competitive league. This is not a league for first timers. If this is a league that is got a lot of baseball guys that really will give you a run for your money. So if you want to get into this league, I need a couple more tonight. I'm going to send everything out tomorrow. And so do it quickly. NorCal Sports Network at Gmail. Let us know and we'll get you into the league. Okay. It's $150. It's a roto league, not a points league. So that's categories. Okay. We'll have 6 or 7 categories on offense and 6 or 7 on pitching. Okay. So with that, let's get back to the subject at hand, which is the Giants roster. And I'm okay, though, with Bryce starting down. Like I said, he had his opportunity. They gave him more at-bats probably than just about anybody on the team. He didn't really do it. But you know what? There's no pressure on him. Go down to Sacramento, tear it up, and when he's ready, he'll knock the door down, and they'll have to, have to put him up.
It'll be interesting to see how fast he can accomplish that. If he is just killing it and someone up in the big leagues is struggling, then that could happen sooner. But if that isn't the case, and the Giants might wait until June or July when they can preserve an extra year of eligible, they can prolong his arbitration, by an extra year if they wait long enough. His service time will be low enough to where his clock doesn't start. So there's a financial thing that comes into play too. That now they didn't do that with Buster. They called. Well, maybe they did. I can't remember now. If they waited,
Buster started 2010 in the minors.
Right, but they brought him up.
Into 9. Benji Molinas was the catcher for a while.
I know, but what date was that? July 24th?
When did Buster come up? I think he came up earlier than that. I think he came up like May or June.
Maybe it was June.
Yeah, it was earlier. It was definitely in the first half. Maybe you can check that out. Yeah. I don't know how hot Matos and Jerar really are as commodities. June
30th.
June 30th. Okay.
They traded Molina.
Yeah. So, Bryce may be down there for May, all of April and May, and maybe June. It depends. A lot of it has to do with not just how Bryce is doing, but how is the big league guys doing? If the big league guy, let's say it's Jerar, okay? Let's say he's the DH, and he's tearing it up. What are you going to do? You might maybe you trade Jerar, but Bryce is going to have to really be doing well, and Jerar or whoever is the DH is going to have to suck. I personally like the idea, and Cody from even your Dynasty show and I were talking about this yesterday. We kind of like the idea of not a designated hitter on this team. You don't have a Shohei Ohtani. You don't have a Kyle Schwarber. You don't have that DH that is strictly, the guy.
Sure.
Why not go with a, kind of a group deal, and maybe Chapman takes a day off and Casey plays third and Chapman's the DH and Adames is the DH one day, and you give Koss a shot if he's on the club at shortstop, and
Yeah.
Arise is the DH. I think that's so much better than carrying Jerar Encarnacion personally.
Yeah, but in general, your worst defender is going to be the DH, which may be Ramos. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends on how good of a start he gets off to. So I do think that Vitello likes that kind of flexibility. He wants his outfielders to play any outfield position, which is a little strange. He wants his pitchers to be able to pitch the ninth, pitch the sixth, pitch the eighth. He wants the flexibility. Now, I don't think that actually works in reality. People need to feel comfortable in their defined roles, and he'll figure that out. Maybe he already knows that. But and he just says that he wants the flexibility to move guys around and play different positions, and everyone's contributing to the cause. And I do think there is something to be said for that, where any given day, anybody on that 26-man roster is going to play their role. So, and so we'll see how it shakes out and how he decides to balance that with the DH and who fills in those places. Like not naming a closer, it's going to be closer by committee, but maybe somebody starts to take on the role of closer.
Jerar must have dirt on the front office like Slender did. I don't know what it is with Jerar. I mean, we'll see. I think he gets his shot based on the way they've kept him this long, like Dallas said earlier. They've kept
He's
him
playing
this long.
great, though. I don't understand why the hate right now. People want to get rid of him.
To me, he started off very poorly, and he's come on strong in the last 2 weeks. I'm just not personally. I'm kind of more of a guy that what have you shown when the big league lights go on, and he's never really shown much. And spring training is kind of like you take it with a grain of salt. It's tough because guys do well, and you want to say, hey, they're having a good spring. But, I've seen Matt Chapman have really good spring last year, really good spring this year. He goes to right field a lot. He goes the other way in spring training. He doesn't during the season. He gets pull happy. He reverts back to his, I'll just tell you what, guys. These guys should, in my opinion, if I'm managing or coaching or doing whatever, or I'm running the club, whenever I see who's pitching's a major league pitcher, I'm getting my big leaguers in there that I'm getting them one or two at bats. They need to get, this whole thing of facing these double A, single A guys and ripping them, and having a great spring. And then they get up there and all of a sudden they're facing Max Fried and Carlos Rodon and Luis Gil or whoever's the other pitch, and they're like, dang, why can't we hit these guys? Look at look at what happened to the US WBC team. They couldn't even hit Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of times the starter of the game is a pretty good pitcher. People are starting their starters, getting their work in. So I think generally in the beginning of the game, you're getting at least one at bat versus someone who's decent. But yeah, as the game goes on, then it's a lot of scrubs facing a lot of scrubs.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of think Senior says Jerar is a Mexican League bum. I'm almost thinking that he was plucked out of the Mexican League by Zach Meneasen under Farhan. That Zach found him, and Zach doesn't want to let him go. I'll bet you that that's what the case was. Because why is he still here when, this is his third year with the club, not full year. He came up part of the 24 season. He was injured to start the 25 season. He was battled injury all last year. But Farhan's gone. So if Farhan had picked that guy, he'd be gone. I'm sorry. Zach Meneasen picked Jerar Encarnacion, and it's his kind of, pet project, and he wants to see it, give him a shot and see it through. And part of me understands it because, like you said, Dallas, he's got some pop. He's showing he's having a decent spring. But at some point, it's like, I don't think he's the long-term answer. And so I'm not looking to carry a guy for a month or two until I don't know. I would rather personally, I don't care if he's got more pop than Matos. I'd rather give Matos every day at bats for a month. And if he doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't cut it. Then okay, Matos, it's time to go. But why are we going to not give Matos a chance when he's 24 and he had a really good minor league history and you developed him? You've never given him a leeway to just take off and what's the word you want to say to a guy? You want to say go fail, but fail with an opportunity. Don't fail with, okay, you got 4 at-bats this week. You got 8 at-bats the next week. You got 3 at-bats. And then, then he played 3 days in a row and he didn't do well. Time to bench him. It's like, give the guy a 30-day run. Give him 100+ at-bats. If he sucks, you know what? At least you gave him everything you got, your chance, and you say, okay, we're cutting Matos if we can't trade him. Yeah. He's 24. I don't understand.
He's not going to get a chance to play every day. And we've seen in the past
give him the DH job.
Yeah.
Or put him in left field and let Ramos the DH. But give Matos a shot and see what he does. Because you know what? You had the same exact San Francisco Giants take on Elliot Ramos, didn't you? You had the same exact take going into the 24 season. You had Jung-Hoo Lee. You had, I can't even remember who the outfielders were. Slater was on the team. You had a couple other guys. Yaz. 2 of the 3 guys went down, and you were forced to give Ramos a chance, and he made the all-star team.
Yeah, and that may be what Matos needs in order to actually make it on this team, because he's not going to get an everyday chance unless someone gets hurt. And, what's the chances of that happening? 25%. So there's a 25% chance that he actually gets a real shot. And then if he does get that shot, what is it, a 35% chance he actually makes it? So the odds of Matos ever becoming anything are pretty slim, unfortunately.
But they were for Ramos too.
They were, but we lucked into that. He got a shot because Jung-Hoo Lee got hurt, and then we had an all-star that year, and he's been one of their better hitters for the last 2 years. So, so the Giants really got lucky on that. And
they did.
Unfortunately, they would have to get lucky again because there's not a spot for Matos to play every day, unless they have him DH. But,
which I'd much rather see. Tell me the difference. All right, let's do this. Let's just play. These guys' stats are not going to look all that great. All right, but let's just do this. As Senior says, bring up in Crapo's major in Crapo. All right, you ask, you receive here. All right, Jerar Encarnacion, spring training. Let's get to. He's got a 240 projection this year with 8 homers, 240 plate appearances, 58 strikeouts, 295 on base percentage, 394 slugging, and an OPS of 688. That's not great for projections. Let's look at his overall stats. His lifetime batting average is 216. He's got a 242 on base percentage. Again, this is limited. It's 256 plate appearances, 10 homers, 40 RBIs, 4 stolen bases, 81 strikeouts in 256 plate appearances is a 31.6% strikeout rate. It's going to drastically have to improve on that. All right, so now, you know what?
And he has this spring, but I guarantee the Giants are making this decision based on what their projection is versus what, Baseball Reference's projection is, which is based on what he's done in the past. So they have advanced metrics on it. They have scouts. They have whatever they have is telling them that this guy should be here and that he should have a shot. Maybe that's Zach Beniason. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know who is. Maybe it's Buster. Maybe Buster likes it. Maybe he likes the fact that he hits the ball 112 miles an hour. So
he does. That's one thing that he does. When he makes contact, it's very loud. It's different sounding off of his bat than a lot of other players that we've seen come to the plate for the Giants. All right, so what we're going to do is these are probably similar plate appearances over the course of a career, but why don't we just compare these if I can get it to work.
And to be fair, Matos has never had a fair shot either. He's had a week where he was super hot, and then he goes cold for a week, and they send him down. And he had very inconsistent times. So he's built up quite a few plate appearances over his last few seasons, but I don't know that he ever really had a chance to play regularly. And he was coming in and then sitting down and playing for 2 games and then taking 4 games off, and you didn't see him for a week or sometimes 10 days or more. And then he comes in and he's cold. And so I was constantly campaigning for Matos to get playing time over Yaz.
Not a great. I mean, he's got little over twice as many plate appearances. So he's got a little more than twice as many hits. He's got a better batting average, 231 to 216. Slugging is where Encarnacion has a little bit edge. Very similar. OPS plus 83 to 76. Neither one has been dynamic or shown much. The only thing I would go with Matos over Encarnacion, if it did come down to that, is that Encarnacion is 27. He's never going to be this
28.
Is he 28 now? Okay. He's not going to be anything spectacular. He's going to be a journeyman type player. Why not give the 24-year-old the lion's share of, if you're going to be picking between the two? I do think the Giants, like I said 10 minutes ago, Dallas, I think they're better off doing a DH by committee and letting guys, put the best defense out there as possible. So Jerar doesn't belong anywhere on the field, in my opinion. If you've got Ramos, Bader, Lee, I don't know, Matos, Gilbert, let's say, I'm not putting Jerar in the outfield even over Ramos. Okay. but
I think he's got a pretty good arm. I think
he's got
the
a
problem
decent arm.
with Encarnacion is I think he's an injury risk in the outfield. He runs, he gives it a max effort, and then he pulls his hamstring. We see it every time he goes to dive for a ball, and then it's like, is he going to get up? It's a question. So that's my problem with Encarnacion in the outfield. I think I just don't like to see the guy get hurt.
Yeah, I'm just not again, nothing against the guy personally. I heard he's a great guy, but I'm sure all the other guys are good guys too. I just think go with your most athletic players that give you more flexibility. You mentioned it earlier. I thought you made a really good point about Tony Vitello wants guys that can be flexible and play around different positions. If you carry Matos, Ramos, Bader, Lee, and whoever, Gilbert or Brennan or whoever it is, at the worst possible situation you have, you can play all of those guys in center field for a game. You could put Ramos could in a pinch say, okay, we don't have anybody else to play center field. You cannot put Jerar
He's done it before.
Yeah, you can't put Encarnacion in center field.
No, you can't.
So he's basic. And how many first basemen you need? You got Devers, you got Schmidt, and you got Arise that can all play first base. So to me, you don't need another guy. But if he comes up and they give him, if he makes the team, to me, if he makes the team, then you better play him for a while, just see what he can do. Because
I think that's what the plan is. I think that is the plan.
Because I mean, the worst thing they can do to a guy like him is cut Matos and have Encarnacion be a guy that never plays, but pinch hits, and then he strikes out because he's not used to getting at bats. Encarnacion looks like a guy to me that has a hole, and the good pitchers, once the season starts, they're going to exploit that hole. They're not exploiting it in spring training a lot because a lot of those pitchers don't know what they're doing. They're just out there trying to impress and throw
or maybe the Giants think that he's figured something out. There's got to be a reason that they're
I keep hearing John Miller
even going through this.
I hear John Miller say he's got a really good 2-strike approach. Well, maybe he's changed it. Maybe this spring he's changed it.
I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me either. I kind of have to just assume that somebody knows what they're doing here. They must like the guy because they're giving him every opportunity. And, he's so far, he has stepped up in spring training where Eldridge did not. I think if the situation was reversed, if Eldridge had been the one hitting 300 and lowered his strikeout numbers, then Eldridge would be on this team.
All right.
But I think that, he's earned the chance at this point.
Here's an curveball for you. What happens if this kid Jared Oliva is a guy that they're taking a really strong look at because Tony likes the idea that he's fast, that he can play great defense wherever you put him, and he's hitting okay. I don't know, what is he hitting right now? Oliva is by the way, the Giants won tonight 14-11. And
Oliva's hitting 344.
Okay. So he's hitting
823 OPS.
Yeah. I'm seeing 351 after tonight and an 874 OPS.
351. Okay, so he had a good night.
2 for 5. Did he steal any bases? Let's see. He had a double. I don't see any stolen bases. Daniel Susak hit his second home run tonight, which is really his third because he didn't get credit for one that went off the brick wall in Scottsdale. I I don't see any stolen bases, but so far, Oliva's had like 12. Oh, wait a minute. He did. He stole third base. 13 stolen bases. I'll tell you what. If spring training is worth anything, you got to consider a guy like this because he's probably, I see the point Oliva can take Matos' spot. He's probably more productive than a Matos. But here's the deal, Dallas. It comes back down to options, doesn't it?
It does.
Does he have options, Oliva?
I don't know. I think he's not on the 40-man, right? So they would have to make room for him. He's 30 years old.
He's 30 years old, yeah.
If I had to guess, I think he does have options. But I would think they would need to move Matos if Oliva's going to make the team.
Yeah. Lou Martian should like him. He went to the University of Arizona.
Eddie says, great point, Dallas. I don't even know what I said, but thank you.
You know what? Let's put that up there. Hey, yeah, that was a great point.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Lou who?
Lou who?
Woo-hoo!
Lou's got to come back on here sometime. Maybe the first losing streak the Giants have, he can come in and just skewer the Giants. That would be great.
Oh,
just
boy.
As salty as can be.
There we go. So let's get to this roster and let's project it. We know the 8 men in, not the 8 men out. We know the 8 men in, right? The 8 men in are Bailey, Devers, Arise, Adames, Chapman, Ramos, Bader, and Lee. 8 men in. How do you like that for a play on words? Okay. So now we need to go to the next at least 5 players. So we know, I think it's Susak and Schmidt are givens, unless Schmidt gets traded. So now we're down to 3. We got 3 spots that are non-catcher spots. Okay. Rodriguez was already sent down. So he's not coming. So now it's down to Encarnacion. Hey, it's almost like the thumbnail, except McCray, I didn't realize was sent down before I made it. So it's Encarnacion, Matos, Koss, Gilbert, Brennan, and Oliva. I don't think Barracoda's on the table right now. He hasn't even played AAA. So those 6 guys, 3 make it, right?
Yep.
So who's those 3 that's going to make it? In your professionally, I would say highly professional, highly paid opinion.
Okay, so I think Christian Koss, he was good on the Giants last year. He has the respect of that team, of the club, and he's hitting .414 in spring. So I think that he's going to make the team. He's done what he has to do to make the team, and they don't have a reason to get rid of him. So he's on the club.
Okay, and you said he's hitting .414?
Yep, I don't know what he did tonight, but
he's up to .417. He went 2 for 5, and he only raised his batting average 3 points.
Okay, so if he goes 0 for 4 tomorrow, they'll just cut him. But for now, he's on the team.
Okay. So you got Koss. Now you're down to 2, maybe 3 if they decide to go with one less pitcher. But we'll give me your other 2 that you think make it. You got Koss. Now you're going. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You didn't pick you just picked Koss out of that group. So you got Koss, Encarnacion, Matos, Gilbert, Brennan, and Oliva. And you're picking Koss was your first guy out of that group.
So who am I picking from again? So we already got Susak, right?
Yeah, we got Susak on and we got Schmidt on.
We got Schmidt on.
So
then I've got
Koss on. Now you're down to 5 other guys. Encarnacion, Matos, Gilbert, Brennan, and Oliva.
And I get to pick 2 of them.
I'm going to let you pick 2 of them. I know which one I know one way you're going right away.
Well, I'm going to pick Encarnacion because I'm very confident they're going to do that.
Yeah. Now you're down to your last.
I don't disagree with you that maybe they should be giving Matos the chance, but he's Encarnacion. Since he's here and he's hitting 300 and he's cut down on the strikeouts, I think he's there. And playing DH. So I got 1 slot left, basically, right?
Yeah, and it's an outfielder.
I think it's Brennan. They think they want a left-hander. I think Matos is the odd man out, and they move him. I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay, both gravy. I've been saying Brennan has a good shot too.
Now, I also think that Matos makes the team because they're going to carry 1 less bullpen arm in the beginning. And then they're going to DFA Matos, try to sneak him through waivers, and that's what's going to happen. But that's my prediction. But they could very well lose Matos in the same Joey Bart situation.
Yeah, they may still be working on a trade. We think the Giants, remember 29 other teams have similar issues. Maybe not all 29, but a majority of them have an issue with 1 or 2 guys at the final part of the roster that they may be out of options too. And they're looking to maybe trade too. So it's not like, hey, Matos or Encarnacion out of options. And there's a pitcher that's out of options too, and I can't remember who it was.
There could very easily be the Giants like Matos. They just don't really have a spot for him. So, and there could be another team like, I don't know, the Brewers that have a guy they really like, but they don't have room for him. And then you swap that. You got a guy that you can send to AAA. And
here's why I don't think Harish 71. I don't think Barracuda makes it because he has options. And he's had a great spring, but they're going to make him prove it that he can do it at AAA. I think he was at AA mostly last year. And I think the fact is I don't think he's not even a roster player, is he? Barracuda? I don't think, isn't he on? Yeah.
So there's 40.
Yeah. There's no reason to initially put him on the roster when he's not going to get a lot of playing time. So,
yeah, you want him down, but I think he will play a role on the team this year.
Somewhere at some point,
there will be injuries. Somebody's going to get hurt without fail. Somebody always gets hurt.
All right.
So that's who knows who it's going to be. I hope it's nobody. But
yeah, exactly. I'm going to say they do this. Susak and Schmidt. I think if they go with 13, I think they go Matos, Encarnacion. Let's see, how many guys do I have after I go? If they go with 13, we said 8. Susak's the 9th guy. Schmidt's the 10th guy. 11, 12, 13. 3 more guys. I think they go Encarnacion. And I think they go Matos. And I think they go Will Brennan, and I think they send Koss down because he's got options. So does Brennan, but they don't have a lefty. And I don't think you need – here's my reasoning for Koss. I don't think you need – your outfielders on this team are not as solid of everyday players as the infield guys are. Chapman and Adames, forget it. They're not coming out of the game unless there's an injury. They're not coming out. You're not taking them out for any reason, and you're not taking out Devers for any reason. And I don't think Arise comes out for any reason unless it's late inning defense, and that's it. So I don't – but Ramos, he can come out. Bader's never played a full season of anything. Jung-Hoo Lee is still unproven. So that's why I say give me two outfielders that can actually go out there and fit in with those other guys, because I might want to pinch hit for Bader. I'm not pinch hitting for anybody on the infield. Anybody. I'm not pinch hitting for Devers or Rise, Chapman or Adames. Not going to happen. So you're going to pinch hit for Lee maybe a time or two, possibly, if it's a tough situation. You're definitely pinch hitting for Bader with probably a lefty.
I agree with you that Schmidt and Koss are somewhat redundant. They both can do the same thing. They're both having good springs. Koss is having a great spring. I don't think it's maybe not best for the team, but for the player, they are going to say they're going to be on the team. I do agree with you, though. They need an outfielder more than they need two infielders that can play every position. So,
yeah. I mean, I think if you had a weaker infield, the infield's the strength of the team, right? I mean, Bailey's not going to play as much if Suzak's hitting, for sure. So, which is a good thing.
For pinch running purposes, they may pinch run Koss for Encarnacion or Devers or whatever late in the game.
True.
And Casey is not the fastest guy in the world.
True.
They're not going to pinch hit him for speed. Now,
right.
If you wanted a guy just for speed, then maybe you pick somebody else. But, I think, Koss would get the edge with that. So they might want somebody that can be a pinch runner late in the ninth inning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
where Oliva could come in. What happens if Oliva comes into the play? What happens if they decide, you know what, we can deal Matos? We've got that
could happen. If they deal Matos, then Oliva could make it.
Yeah.
Which I think would improve the team. I'd rather have a burner that they could put in there than Matos, who's a question mark.
Yeah, and Oliva's a really good defender, too. He can play center, left, or right. He can burn. They need somebody with speed on this team.
But there's a balance. There's Wayne, what's best for the team, winning games, and what's best for the team financially wise. We have an asset here that may be worth money that we could trade and get a piece for in the future. And so they might, take a little bit less as far as the team composition the first couple of weeks of the season, first month maybe, and see what they can do with the guys that they have that they maybe don't want to get rid of yet because they haven't found the right deal.
Yep. Hey, by the way, guys, if you're not going to join the Fantasy Baseball League here at NorCal Sports Network because, A, you don't want to risk money or you don't have the money to risk a lot, why not sign up for PrizePicks? Because PrizePicks, it only takes $5 with PrizePicks to play, and they're going to give you $50 in. It's not a match. It's $50 for $5. I mean, let me tell you this. I'm in financial planning, all right? You give me $50 every time I give you $5, we can play that game all night long. In fact, I'll tell you what. I'll make you guys a deal. Everybody who wants to give me $50, if I give a $5 prize every 2 minutes on this show, I'll stay up all night, and we'll just stay on this. In fact, we'll run this channel 24/7. If you want to give me $50 for every time I play 5. Okay? I play 5, you give me 50. We'll do a 24/7 stream for the rest of my time on Earth. Okay? I'll find a bot. I'll find somebody to sit in this booth that will just collect $45 every 2 minutes. Okay? So don't tell me you can't sign up for PrizePicks. Okay? They're offering you.
How long could Dan make it if that was the deal? 50 for 5. How long could he sit in that chair? 3 days, 5 days before he just completely.
Let me see how many I can do it. I bet I can do it for at least 36 hours.
Oh yeah, you got that.
And if I collected $45 every 5 minutes, that's how many times is that around the clock? That would be 11. 11 every 5 minutes, right?
12.
Well, I guess if you counted the 12
Oh,
o'clock.
I see. You're right. $5. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So $45 times 11. We'll do it 11. $495 an hour for 36 hours. That's $17,820. Absolutely. I could do that for 36 hours. I'll just sit here and then I'll sleep for a couple days. And then I'll start it up again. So PrizePicks, you got to go sign up for PrizePicks. It's a daily fantasy app where you build lineups by choosing whether players will have more or less than a projected stat total. Right now, you've got the NC2A March Madness going, and you can right now get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup, win or lose. You only need to do, you play with, you got to open an account with $10, okay? $10, but you only play 5 and you get 50. It's available in all 50 states. Download the PrizePicks app today or use that promo code right there by clicking on the link in this description of this video and click on that, build your lineup and follow along while watching the games. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. A lot of great games today. Did you see Wisconsin knocked off or got knocked off by a High Point? Has anybody tell me what I'm missing? I've never heard of a college called High Point. Have you, Dallas?
No, I have not. I did not see that either. I've been traveling today, so
where did High? I've been watching college basketball for 50 plus years. Where did High Point come from?
I could not even venture a guess.
I mean, was it 1 point? It was a low point in the team, and they became a high point. High Point College? What, do they only accept high point GPAs?
I'd venture to guess this is a high point for them.
I would think this is maybe their highest point. Well, unless they win Saturday against Arkansas, it looks like they're going to be playing. So, High Point. And Siena, doggone it, they had Duke on the ropes, and they had them. They were up by like 7 or 9 points. A guy missed a dunk. It bounced off, rebound, and went down the other end of the court and scored. It went from a 9-point lead, which would have been 11, down to 7, and it just changed the momentum. And then Duke's just caught up with them.
That's what's great about March Madness is that it's one game. Anything can happen in one game. You know,
yes,
it's kind of like the WBC. You know, baseball is usually series, and basketball is usually series. You know, you get used to playing. Well, not really in basketball, but in a playoff, you'll have a series.
Los is going to be joining the NorCal Sports Network Fantasy. He's the reigning champ, coming over from Best of the West, and we're transferring over some of the Best of the West players. And Los,
I'll be right back, Dan.
Thank you. Just telling you right now, Los, you're not repeating. I repeat, you're not repeating. Let me get a little closer. You're not repeating. Okay. Nope, not repeating here. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So we will gladly take your money and yeah. Dom, we need you in this league too, man. We love to talk S. I love to give it to Los. He loves to give it to me. But in the end, right now, Los holds the crown. But come September 27th, 2026, there will be a new sheriff in town. Well, actually, I'm the sheriff of one league it wasn't the NorCal Sports Network League. It was the Giants Sports Talk Live League that I won last year. But this league's going to be tougher. This league's going to be a lot tougher. I could tell you that. It will be a high point if I beat him. It will be a low point if I lose to you, Los. We can't have that. We definitely cannot have that. All right. So anyway, we're going to pick our pitchers when Dallas gets back, and that's going to be a crapshoot, and then we'll call it a night. But we'll wait for Dallas to come back in here. I think he's ready, and there he is. I just said we're going to call it a night. We're going to pick our pitching staff and then call it a night. So Dallas cannot hear, or can we hear you? He cannot hear us. This is a low point right now. Wait, he's got us. Okay, we are going to pick our pitching staff, and that's going to be a crapshoot because if you get
this is a tough one.
You know what? We should do a prize. Everybody throw in we all know the starters. Pick your 8 relievers. If you get all of them right, we'll come back and we'll anoint you or something. Dallas is looking it over. He's saying,
I got to do a little quick research here.
I'm gonna go with I got to pull up my roster here. We both got to do the same thing. I got to pull it up on my phone. Roster. Okay. Are we ready? Here we go. We know Hayden Birdsong's not going to be on it. By the way, Hayden Birdsong's electing to have Tommy John surgery. He is out for all of 26 and probably close to half of 27.
Yes. Now, is it possible that the issues he's had over the last couple seasons is elbow problems that were starting to show signs of wear and tear, and this is going to allow him to achieve that next level that he hasn't been able to do to this point?
It's worth he's got a lot of talent, wouldn't give up on him. So I would definitely hope that helps it. So let's, so you want to take a crack at it or you want me to go first?
Well, are we doing all of ours?
We're going to do the 8 pitchers we think make the team, 7 to 8.
Right. But do I list all mine or do we go 1, 1, 1, 1?
Let's go all.
Okay. I'm finalizing this list here. One moment.
Let me see if I got mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I'm ready when you're ready.
All right, 1 second. I've got a couple more to fill in here.
All right.
Okay, go ahead. You want to go ahead, go first, or you want me to?
You go first, because then you might help me. You might help I don't know.
All right, I got one more to add. 1 second.
All right.
Is Eric Miller healthy, or is he not going to make it?
Who's that?
Is Eric Miller going to make it, or is he?
He's healthy. He's healthy. I'm going with the three Bs to start. Okay. And I don't know. The three Bs, unfortunately, they're not the killer Bs, but I'm going with Bivens, Brubaker, and Buto.
I got all those on my list.
Okay. Bivens, Brew, and Buto.
Yep.
You could almost go four Bs, but I don't think Beck's going to make it. He's on the roster. No. He's got options. So, and then I'm going with the two lefties. I'm going with Gage and Miller.
I'm going Lucchesi and Miller.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going Ryan Walker.
Yep.
6.
I got him.
I'm going Keaton Wynn. 7.
Me too. Yeah.
And my dark horse, my guy that makes it, that gives a little bit of speed on all these other guys don't have speed. I'm going to go with Caleb Killian as a guy that makes the club.
All right. My last guy. I'm going to go with Fulmer.
That's a good pick. I considered Fulmer. You could go. Yeah, I think they carry two lefties, and Lucchesi, has he had enough pitching yet? Has he only pitched once so far?
Oh, I thought they've gotten him in a couple times. Let me check.
Yeah, check his stats because I don't.
It seemed like to me they signed him with the idea that he was going to get ramped up and get going.
Yeah,
he has been in. Hold on a second. I pulled up the wrong thing. Here we go. Come on, internet, load.
Yeah, George.
Here it is. Okay. We've got only appeared in one game. Okay. He's not going to be on it.
It's going to be tough.
Because he won't be ramped up in time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't pick him.
Interesting. I thought he had been in a few games and they had fast-tracked him, but that's not the case. My mistake.
So
I think that McDonald and Wisenhunt are not going to make it. They deserve to make it.
Wisenhunt's already been cut.
Yeah, but I think they'll both get sent down to AAA because those are the guys that are going to come up when they need a starting pitcher. They want them stretched out. They want them ready to go. We will see significant innings from both McDonald and Wisenhunt this year when they need pitching.
Here's
they don't want to have them in the bullpen sitting around waiting to have a long man situation. You got Keaton Wynn to do that.
Yep. Here's my and not only Keaton Wynn, Brubaker can go a little long too. And so can Bivens.
And Bivens, yeah, they all can.
So you don't need another long man. Here's what I believe on Trevor McDonald. Okay. Is this up on the screen right now? I'm not looking at it.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I can't really show the highlight there. I'd like to, but I don't know. I don't want to break MLB, whatever. Trevor McDonald gave up 2 home runs in his last start. Yesterday against the Dodgers, I said today because in his first inning of relief, he gave up a hard hit double followed by this 2-run homer. I feel that keeping him stretched out as a starter in AAA may be best for him and the team. Last year, he pitched 157 innings, and he should be able to be stretched out this season to 175 plus. To carry him in the bullpen and only pitch 60 to 75 innings would not be good for the 27 season when the Giants may need to replace 2 starting pitchers in Robbie Ray and Tyler Mahle. I'd keep McDonald as a starter. Like Dallas said, they need those guys ready to go if guys in the front line go down.
Yeah. I think in Wisenhunt's the same boat. I think he's looked pretty good, especially lately. So I don't know if he pitched the last day or two, but I think same thing for him. They want him.
Yeah, I think McDonald's good enough to make this team, but for what purpose? 150. He probably pitched more innings last year as a starter in the Giants organization in the minors than any other starting pitcher. I don't think anybody else threw 157 innings. He threw 142 with the River Cats and 15 with the Giants in 2 games or 3 games he played. So get him built up even more so that if you need him in 27 because he becomes a productive starter in spot starts this year and he's ready to go next year, you don't need to build him up.
Right.
And also, I see George's comment about Tidwell and Seymour. I think Tidwell could become a closer. He's got some nasty stuff for, if he can figure it out. He throws 98, 99. I also like Wisenhunt as kind of like another. I think Wisenhunt would be tremendous if he can throw 97 for an inning and then mix in that changeup and a curve. The problem with Wisenhunt, he doesn't have enough arsenal that's good enough to go through the lineup a third time.
I mean, he's adding pitches to his repertoire, so he does need to go down to AAA and work on those. So, and I think that's what their plan is with him. He could come up and be. I think he could be out of the bullpen effective, but I think that's limiting what his potential is. They still see him as a starter, and so they want to give him that opportunity.
Yeah,
because that's where pitching 1 inning is just not as good as pitching 6 or 5 in this day and age.
Correct.
But but
they
will need innings from those guys.
We were talking Tuesday night, I think it was, Los and I, and we were saying, when the rest of the league is, zigging or zagging, whatever, you do the opposite, right? What happens if you built up guys like in your farm system? If you said, you know what, but I don't know if you can do it because the problem is these guys are getting trained at such a low level, high school and college, that they're pitching, their arms are wearing out because they're trying to get the drive line and they're trying to throw so hard. But I would rather draft and develop guys that are more like Logan Webb.
I think the longevity is going to be there. You lose 2 years with Tommy John on almost all those guys.
Why? I mean, Webb did have Tommy John in the minors, but why not? Why not have guys like Webb, who are, your Webbs, your Greg Maddux, the guys that know how to pitch. That hey, you want to go ahead and hit this ball on the ground?
Yeah,
go ahead, hit it. I'll just save myself.
We will see that return.
Okay.
There's always adjustments and there's trends, and we move too far in this direction. So then now we're going to move back in the other direction. So I think that, we will see a return to that at some point, because you have these guys that you're investing all this time and money in and resources, and you're not getting the longevity career-wise out of a lot of these guys that you could if they, you were a little more sensible about what you were promoting or emphasizing. So I do think that there is room for those types of guys, and it's undervalued at this point in baseball.
Yeah, I was just thinking, what happens if you had enough guys? You had a 5-man rotation, because we were talking about the old rotations of 4-man rotations with Bob Gibson, Marichal. They used to pitch 300 innings a season on 4 days rest. What happens if you found enough guys that said, hey, wait a minute, something's not right here. We've gone from 4-man rotations to guys pitching 300 innings to a 5-man rotation where they can only go 175 or 185, the average probably. Yeah. I mean, low. And what happens if you got 5 guys that threw 200 innings like Webb, and you said, you know what? We're going to change the makeup of our baseball team. We're not carrying 8 relievers because we got guys that go 7 every night. And you know what? We're not going to stop them at 100 pitches. We're going to train these guys to go 115. So you get that extra inning out of them.
Sure.
And then you carry a guy like an Oliva on your team as a base stealing specialist that comes in late innings.
I mean, in reality, they're probably going to just add another person to the roster at some point. Like they keep doing
27, yeah.
Right. They keep doing that. But I agree with you completely. First of all, Farhan, when it was his ship that he was running, he would limit all the minor leaguers to pitching 125 innings a year or whatever. Like, they were not
Harrison.
stretched out. They all pitched 5 innings, 4 innings, and they would get, they were not. And then when you needed someone to bring them up to the big leagues, they weren't even stretched out. So I do see a difference now with Posey, where he's just organizationally, as an organization, they're allowing pitchers to pitch deeper into games, pitch more innings in the minor leagues, so that when they come up to the big leagues, it's not such an adjustment. Guys were not used to pitching like that. Then they come up here and they get hurt. So I think, you do want to, have guys accustomed to what the workload is going to be when they get in the majors. There's this idea that arms have only so many bullets in them.
Right.
But I think if the arm is accustomed to a certain level of stress, recovery, then, I do think that pitchers can pitch longer and, have more longevity. And we used to see that. It's not like, yes, they are throwing harder now, and that's emphasized, and that does cause more stress on the arm. It does limit careers, limit the number of innings guys can go, but it's not like they were pitching in the 70s and 80s, back in the day. They were still pitching 90 miles an hour. So I think that, I definitely there's things need to trend back in that direction, because what's currently happening, it's not really working. Guys are getting injured, careers are shorter, and why? For what gain? A guy throws triple digits, and that's some magic number. Yeah. If you throw 94 and you get guys out, that's really what matters.
Yeah. Don't you think, I'm looking at this comment by Mike Vowell. He says it's weird because they seem to only have a handful of 200 inning guys in the entire league, and those guys are making top dollar, but it's odd they don't let anyone else try to. Really is. Don't you think that Logan Webb, the Giants, he's severely underpaid compared to these pitchers that are making 30 plus? He's making like 18.
I know. Yeah, he is. Next contract, I assume he's going to get paid, but he did give the Giants kind of a sweetheart deal. And he doesn't get the respect still, people in the chat, they don't call him an ace. And when it comes to get that new contract, he probably won't get paid as much as the biggest names in the league, just because he doesn't throw 98, but
I'm really kind of tired of the velo. I think guys are getting used to 98, in that if you don't have much movement on your 98, you're going to get hit hard.
Yeah.
So,
there's all kinds of examples of guys that are able to operate in the low 90s or even in the 80s and get guys out. So
right. Well, let's get out of here. We got a little bit of a late start tonight, 8:45, 8:50, and we've gone an hour and almost a half. So we really appreciate you guys being here tonight. Make sure you do hit the like button on the way out. I don't know, how many likes do we have right now?
Not enough, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I saw your comment that we let's see.
I tried to get 10 right off the bat. I got 3, and one of them was me.
One of them was you. Well, at least you liked it. That's good. I'm looking here. Wait a minute. That can't be right. That can't be right. Hold on. I gotta do this again.
We got 31 likes.
31
out of 70, though. So
it's 33. It's up to 33. All right. Okay. Let's see if we can get that to 50. Everybody, on your way out, hit the like button. We'll be back. I don't know when we'll be back. Not tomorrow night, most likely. I doubt we'll do one tomorrow night. Saturday.
Carino. My dogs are downstairs watching TV. They left.
What are they watching tonight?
They're watching Animal Planet. No,
I was going to
they're
say,
watching-
are you gonna put Animal Planet on there for them?
I do that sometimes when I am going to be leaving them alone for a while.
Do they bark at it?
No, they just like to watch, birds and stuff.
Okay, that's cool. Buster
It's
barks
good.
at horses. He barks at dogs. He barks at animals. He just
Any four-legged animal, my dog, the little one will bark at.
Animal Planet. I think that's a good channel for dogs to watch.
Oh,
I think
sure.
it's probably healthy for their brains, and they get a chance to see other animals, and they.
Yeah. He's never seen a rhinoceros before.
Yeah.
What the hell's that?
Yeah.
It's a big dog.
No nuclear war. I think everybody can say amen to that. Lee, Devers, Ramos, Arise, Adamas, Chapman, Matos, DH, Bailey, Bader. Not bad. I've seen so many lineups that's out there. It's really remarkable. Now that I have to change it.
Arise hitting cleanup. That's an interesting thing.
I've got Arise batting fifth on my lineup, but I'm okay with Arise anywhere from 3 to 5 because we saw what he did in Venezuela. He was third. They didn't bat him leadoff. They had Acuna, but the Giants don't have a true leadoff hitter. They don't have that stud like Acuna or Ohtani or,
I want Lee to be the leadoff hitter if
I do
he
too.
can cut it. He has to produce though. He needs to add base stealing to his bag of tricks, which he hasn't shown that he can do yet. And
that's where I have him. The 2 out RBIs exactly. And guys, I'm just going to warn you. There's a lot of people out there that think Luis Arise is like the next coming. He's the second coming. He walks on water. He parts the Red Sea. You're going to get frustrated watching Luis Arise this year at times. Okay. He's going to ground out weakly. He's going to hit a little flare that's going to be caught in the outfield. It's just a fly ball, but he will get his share of hits. Okay. He will get close. He'll probably lead the league in hits. He'll probably win a batting title, but it's going to at times appear like the guy doesn't come through because he will go 0 for 4 and then he'll come up and get a hit and it'll be 1 for 5, but it might be a big hit. Just know that he's not a guy, because he hits 300, he's not a guy that gets on every time he comes to the plate.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people have this image of Luis Arise as like he's this incredible guy to watch. Like, oh man, he's going to be so fun to watch. He doesn't. He's just a little guy that he'll hit you the flares here and there, and he'll get you a sharp single here and there. He doesn't make a lot of loud contact, guys.
No, but he is incredibly annoying to face because we faced him, and the guy keeps getting on base all the time. You can't get the guy out. So at least for the Giants, they couldn't get him out. It seemed to always be on base. So I like that about him. I'm starting to get the idea that some guys I think are going to have a pretty big year. I've got a couple of guys in mind. So maybe another show we could talk about who our picks to have a monster season.
Okay. I like that. And our quote of the night goes to NorCal Sports Talk Live _1. He comes up with the quote of the night, and that is this: dogs prefer humans over dogs, and humans prefer dogs over humans. And that, my friend,
true,
is Yogi Bearish. Or
yes.
That I like that quote. The only person I prefer over my dog Buster is, fortunately, it's my wife. That's a good thing.
That's very good. If it wasn't the case, there could be some problems.
But I will tell you, for entertainment purposes, if Buster could entertain you in his seat, sitting where Dallas is sitting, and he could communicate back and forth and have a good time, I would prefer Buster in that seat than Dallas. And that is just nothing against Dallas, but I have a lot of fun with Buster. And if he would communicate for an hour and 35 minutes like this and can talk to you guys about the Giants, I think we'd have the hottest show on YouTube right now.
Unfortunately, that would cut into his nap time way too much.
Yeah. And I'm sure if Dallas had his choice, he'd rather have his two dogs sharing this seat than me. And that's just the way it goes, guys. If you got your dog, you love your dog, man. And dogs rule and cats drool, as Michael Fox once said, right?
That's right.
And nothing against cats.
Dogs are great. We've had a little bit of some medical scares here lately with one of the dogs, so it's been.
We don't like to hear that.
But he's doing well, and
Good.
Makes you appreciate your time with these guys.
Yeah, it sure does. And Dom, how is? I always want to, if I pronounce the dog's name right, is it? It's not Baron. It's Barrigan. How do I pronounce your dog's name, Dom? I know his dog. I saw him on Facebook. He was out roaming for a walk after some surgery, and I'm just looking to see if I can find the dog's name in here. Let me see. I think I might pull it up here. Good to hear he's doing well, Dallas. My pup Bear. I thought the dog's name. Oh, Baron. Isn't it Baron or something like that? Let's see. There he is. Burnett's. Look at that. We can play this too, because this is not against Burnett. Bear. Okay, Bearnat. This does not go. Oh, it has no sound. This does not go against MLB. There he is. Look at that. Let's see. First time out there on the, look at that. He just off. Look at that. We love to see that. Oh, the beach. Is that Santa Cruz? I love going to, if that's Santa, I love the beach with my dog. Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what, if you don't like dogs, you probably don't like me or Dallas. Because this is a dog channel, man. I'm going to the
37
beach.
likes. 3 more. Let's get it up there. This program.
I'm going to the beach. I'm a dog on the beach. Yeah, exactly. They love running. Hey, Mike Val, I'll be in touch with you hopefully by tomorrow with the fantasy. Looks like we're going roto instead of points. We've got let me see if I've got any more contact here. Okay, Jake's in. Okay, good. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10. We got 2 on the fence, and then we'll close the league out even at 10. We might bump it to 12 if we get there, but we got to have our draft coming up here either Sunday night or Tuesday night. We got to figure that out. It'll be about 6:00 either Sunday or Tuesday with the draft.
Okay.
And
fantastic. And we got less than a week till the
and I got
kickoff of the season.
Baseball America, Baseball Almanac. Ask me any question about any play. I could have just looked up Jerar in here, right? But anyway, let's get out of here. Let's get the music rolling here, guys. Let's get our little 1.5 minute out exit music.
Catchy.
Very catchy, huh? So catchy that it makes you want to go out and buy the album. Yeah. I put it together myself. Well, not really. I told Suno AI what I wanted. All right, guys. Hey, don't forget, if you want in, the league's going out tomorrow. All the settings for the league, the setup for it, pretty simple. It's going out tomorrow, and it's a prepay league. Just put your money into Yahoo. They'll manage the money, and that's all there is to it. It's $150, but they do charge, I think, 2%, so it's like $3. And then they disperse the money with the winners, and then I don't have to worry about trying to collect money at the end of the season because someone didn't pay.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Right. So, well, I think we'll probably come back. Probably our next. We'll be coming on next week, almost starting the full thing where we start going on post game or
every day
our late innings live.
That's right.
Oh yeah, PMP Polymac Particles opening night at Standard Deviant Pier 70 next Wednesday, opening day, 4 p.m. Everybody swing by. I'd be there, but unfortunately, I've got to stay here and deal with a couple things. So. But I will be up more for the summer months, and we'll do some meet and greets and hangouts with NorCal Sports Network, and probably we'll get Polymac Particles and we'll do a collab together, maybe at Longbridge Pizza or something like that. We'll be talking about that. And cool, everybody. Hey guys, have a great weekend and enjoy yourself. Stay safe. And we will catch you on the next show, everybody. Take care. As we say, as John Miller says, wait, I need one more goodbye.